The Iliad and the Odyssey are two very important and foundational pieces of literature. Both are written by Homer. Well, not necessarily written, but he spoke them out to somebody and they wrote them. Both include major themes that are found in both the Iliad and the Odyssey. So let's get into those key themes today. The Iliad, which focuses on the Trojan War, includes many key themes, as I said. Achilles, Priam, Agamemnon, Helen, and even many of the gods are seen in this story, all involved in the Trojan War between the Greeks and the people of Troy. The Odyssey, however, is more towards the end of the Trojan War, where Odysseus leads his men in the Trojan horse and attacks and kills the people of Troy, which ultimately leads them to winning the battle. The story, however, isn't just about that. It's about Odysseus' long journey home, which could have stopped before it even happened. It could have been very short, but he decided to let himself get in the way. And all that to say, let's get into it. One key theme in both epics is honor. And honor is seen as such a high prize in Greek culture and also to the Trojans, which is what the Iliad is especially about, is the Battle of Troy. And even in the Odyssey, it starts off with the war in Troy. In the Iliad, which is over the Greek and Trojan War, many soldiers fought honorably. They didn't back down, they were courageous, although some characters did back down and shy away at times, but they always came back to do the right thing and to die an honorable death. However, some didn't do as well. For example, Hector, he ran away from Achilles, and even though he said that he was gonna fight Achilles, knowing that he wasn't strong enough to battle him, he ran away. And what did Achilles do? He killed him. And that also determined the fate of Achilles, which is a major part of this story. Another example of honor in war times especially is burying your dead. And many times throughout this epic, the Trojans and the Greeks both took time to bury their dead, which was an honorable way to commemorate their death. Odysseus, even though he had already escaped Circe, traveled back to where they were and buried his dead. Well, the men that had died while they were there. In the Iliad, Achilles, one of the key warriors of the Trojan War, very much struggled with pride. He couldn't get over the fact that Agamemnon took his girl from him whenever Achilles forced him to give up the priest girl, which he didn't just struggle with that, he also kind of thought the war was stupid. But who's to say? It was over Paris taking someone else's girl anyway, Helen, which started the whole thing. In the Odyssey, Odysseus also has the fatal flaw of pride. Whenever he stabs Poseidon's son, the Cyclops, in the eye, he makes sure to yell out, "Make sure you tell everyone who did this to you that it was me, Odysseus." Whenever he probably should have just left it as him being nobody. However, that's what caused his long journey to be a long journey home, because he couldn't get over the fact that he had done that to him. Him doing that to Poseidon's son obviously left him very angry. So when the Cyclops prayed to his father to wreak havoc on Odysseus' journey, he did. And it took him 10 years to get back home, on top of the 10 years he had already been gone, making it a 20-year-long journey to get back to his wife. Let's get into the next key theme, loyalty. I think that Penelope, which is Odysseus' wife, truly embodies loyalty. After all, she waited on him and never gave up hope for 20 years. I mean, that's a long time to stay loyal to someone who isn't even there and who you don't even know is alive. Even though there's many viable suitors to help raise her son and also to keep up the kingdom, she never gives up on Odysseus, which I think that strongly shows her love for him. And not even just her love, but obviously her loyalty to her husband. In the Iliad, Achilles has a very special friend, Patroclus. He shows loyalty to Achilles whenever he chooses to go deceive the people and pretend to be Achilles and lead his men into war. And he really did it on behalf of Achilles. Would you do that for just anybody? Go to war not knowing if you're going to die or not for your friend? I don't know. I probably would. Even though both of these epics have many, many themes, these are just a few that stuck out to me. Loyalty, pride, and honor are all things that apply to everyday life, not even just in mythological Greek era. We can learn a lot from both of these epics. Anyways, thanks for listening. And this was my mini podcast over the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer.